So, hello, everybody, and welcome back to some WARNO League action. And it's getting hot in here, guys, as we have Stahlbrecher versus Woeisme coming in here on Black Forest. And if you have a look at where we're at, it's the semifinals already here, as Woe and Stal got here on a nice path. And those were some great games, weren't they, Chloride?
Yeah, I mean, both Stal and Woe have really been performing at their maximum. I think compared to earlier, to what you would see on Woe's stream, for instance, or not that Woe isn't great on his stream, of course, and Stal's earlier tournament and league games, the meta really is kind of heightening. The rushes, the rushes are being more rushier. The divisions are being explored more, and I really like to see. This is exactly what I kind of hoped that the league seasons could be, especially if they are paced around the changes in meta and balance and DLC. And right now, I think the way that we have seen, for instance, the Polish divisions getting represented here outside of the Desantova, of course, has been amazing. The using of the new mechanics, the special forces cars, for instance, the 120 kph, all of that stuff, and the growing understanding of the player base at what is a lasting overpowered strategy and not just a gimmick,
Yeah.
which is what the game earlier provided us a lot of the time.
Yeah, and when we have a look at the bands, Stahl actually went right for that Polish that you were talking about, as we saw Woe fielding it with a lot of success earlier. And it has been played a lot lately by Skific and others, so it's a nasty, fast division. Woe banning two of the divisions that Stahl has had a lot of success with, 5th Panzer and 4th Divizia, banned out of Stahl's roster. So in the end, we got a matchup here that is pretty hot as well. 5th Blinde versus 20th Panzerna. Stahl picking first here with the 5th Divizia. And then we had Stahl coming in with the 20th Panzerna here. And that Blinde pick here, always pretty strong. And it's going to be interesting. The map bans are pretty standard as well. Two Ways has a Vertigo and Chemicals. So all the other maps we can see in this best of 5, those are banned for the whole series. And yeah, I'm kind of okay with that as well. We have seen Vertigo enough times. Just a bit sad that Two Lakes is not on that ban list.
Yeah, my heart sunk when I say that it wasn't. But for Woe, what do you think about the 5th Panzer and 4th Divisie picks taking out the biggest Leopard 2 divisions? Do you think that Woe just really does not want to play a heavy enough division to counter the Leopards? Because the Leopards are really good and they reward micro. And on this level of play, the fact that you get better sights, better speed, and better gunnery relative to your armor is just it works, allows you to use those units, those fast units, as force multipliers. We saw, for instance, in an earlier game, last game, I believe it was Tanner who used a single Leopard and a dedicated smoke unit to use the Leopard to threaten the whole front line without having to invest any more. Do you think that the Leopard 2 is kind of becoming the tank du jour of top play now that it is combined in such powerful divisions?
Yes. And I think the two bands are also directly focused on Stahl, as Stahl's biggest success in the past was with German divisions, which obviously Field the Leopard, and then 4 Divizia is kind of a German division in disguise. It's speaking weird German, but it's pretty close nonetheless, both in equipment with the Leopard 2s and the language as well, with the Dutch. And it's also bringing down the power level a bit more to where Woe feels comfortable. Woe is a person that loves the mid-tier division, and 5th Blinde is one of the best mid-tier divisions, sure, but you can beat it with other mid-tier divisions, and 20th Panzerna is one of those that can do it. We have seen it especially with Tiberius Rancor, who aggressively forced us, letting the enemies get 5th Blinde and then picking 20th Panzerna into it multiple times in multiple tournaments. And it has been really successful for Tiberius, so Woe might be onto something here. as it's going to be interesting if the 5th in day, which is seen as the one of the 2 most OP divisions right now, can be beaten by a division that is right on its heels when it comes to the power level.
Yeah, I think because when you, with the 20th Pancerna, you have the T-72s, which are of course allergic to leopards. The natural predator of the T-72 is the leopard 2 in this game and in real life. But right here, now that WoW automatically has the heavier stuff, the tanks that can stand up and fight against the Brennuses, even the Brennuses quite easily, the only thing left to do is just remove all the French ATGMs, and that is something that you can practice. It's a skill issue, but WoW is not lacking in any skill, and the 20th Pancerna pick really just kind of probably allows for some level of comfort against 5e that you don't have with other divisions. The Honker Rus opener and the powerful and cheap helicopters give you the ability to hunt down the AMX-10s. There is not that much overpowered that the French planes can dive in or that the French helicopters can swarm. All of your stuff is replaceable enough, and you even get really powerful yet good price units such as Coops. 20th probably just it is probably some level of a comfort pick and will likely develop into something like that. Most likely, especially with WoW and Tiberius showing the way here.
Yes, and the Salamander opener is something that is absolutely WoW. WoW loves to upvet his autocannon helicopters, and they shred. Like the 23mm cannon shreds, and on this one he also has that auto cannon together with the Malyutka. Malyutka is not amazing, but it can be annoying against the lightly armored AMX-13s, AMX-10s, which it can not quite one-shot, but it can deal a lot of damage against them. So the Salamandras are an evil thing that you have to get rid of, and Stal directly starts with that, getting 2 of them out of the sky, important kills there. Even saves his Alouette in the south. So the southern part goes well for Stahl so far, but WoW has all of center for himself as the helicopters secured that easily.
Yeah, WoW actually attacking with a second group of helicopters as the Mirage leaves, realizing that the enemy probably does not have a second fighter. And even if they do, that fighter will likely trade down against the MiG-21 BIS. MiG takes out an Alouette. The Salamandras are diving into very dangerous 50 cal range here. I think the Salamandra, at least first one of them, will likely get taken out here, even without the Tarask.
Yeah, MiG-21 BIS here flying around. Tarask trying to get on top of the MiG-21, dealing a bit of damage. But yeah, the Salamandras are down. That's a good start here for Stahl. Not losing all that much in the early game, but getting rid of all the helicopters. But the helicopters are replaceable. It's annoying for WoW, but it's not the end of the world losing those. Those are not Akulas or anything like that. They are replaceable. And Mephistos and Renaissance here are dangerously pushing now, but the Vilk is ready, the T-72 leader is ready. If you set the Vilk up correctly here, it can do a lot of work.
Yeah, these Rospecial and GSR units have way worse weaponry and one less man than the standard Rospecial recon commando unit, but these guys have ground surveillance radar, which really is the it is the greatest weapon that a tank could have, because it gives you likely first shot advantage in tank fights, especially if your enemy does not have a GSR unit.
Yeah, but both sides here.
Is, of course, but,
yeah, both sides here with the Dragon Paras and the Rospecialny with good recon setup here. The Honker Rus in the center gets pushed back. And Stahl is currently on the +1 with the Theodore point already captured, though not having a CV ready for center, so has to wait a bit longer to get something on the board. So Stahl gets a decent lead here, 100 points so far, most likely going to go up to 200 to 250 points before the tick gets stopped, but has to be careful now as WoW realizes the lack of AA missiles and brings the Su-22 rocket here, trying to clean up house against the Grenadier Voltagier, misses though, as they somehow break line of sight there. And that is a big win. Oh, and the Mephisto. It doesn't quite get a hit onto the T-72 there. Mephisto not quite fast enough with the missile on target. That could have been massive. If the T-72 MD here would have been taken out, that could have been really, really brutal. T-72 now engaging the Brennus. Brennus gets hit there, too close to it, and has to disengage immediately. That's what we were talking about when we were talking about how much heavier T-72 is. And the Brennus immediately has to get the hell out of here.
Yeah, the air tab as well. Even though they lack a fighter that is as maneuverable as the Mirage F1, or as fast. I mean, the MiG-21s will trade well against the French planes generally, and the fighter bombers, the Su-22s, are both numerous and really decent. They are more than enough weaponry to kill what the French have. They have 38 ECM, which is a nice little 50% plus from having 20 ECM, and the planes are they are load bearing in WoW's play, I think. So the Roland 3 sniping will likely start happening as WoW realizes that there are Rolands on the board. The French anti-air tab is decent, but I believe they don't have that many slots, especially that we can see the Tarasks have been taken, and the Tarasks are not that efficient against planes. The reinforcements that are coming in for Stahlbrecher seem to be going in for an infantry attack down the middle, supported by a couple of Brennises. Meanwhile, reinforcements from WoW seem to be, or at least showed us that WoW is interested in securing the southern forest line, which will allow you to sneak in tanks or ATGMs from the red side and get fire control over the southern zone. Now, this is not going to work without WoW investing way more into this, because Stal is quick reinforcing with 2 commando squads with the helicopters, and there is no AA here to shoot these things down. The commandos are 10-man squads. They got good weaponry, good AT, and they're not too expensive, only with 65 points, and those things will rule the southern position. So far, if Stahl manages to get a head-in into the middle, and WoW's, oh no, okay, now we can see where WoW's points have been going. This is, checking the names here, this is even more fighter bombers. Su-22 rockets are very cheap and also have AA missiles, and the Series 30 AT plane got a nice kill there for itself.
Yeah, AMX 10's really vulnerable there, getting picked off. And without those recon units, the Dragon Paras have to carry a lot here, as all the other recon units are AMX 10s, and only one of them is left remaining on the battlefield, and that one is currently busy in the north. So if the Dragon Paras go down, Stahl will go blind from 1 second to another. And yeah, those planes going to be annoying. Mirage 200s here, not the greatest fighters. They're decently fast, but the missile they carry are pretty bad, and against the 30% ECM plane that is the Su-22, it will struggle to actually find some hits. So more Roland 3s are needed with their good 60% long-range missiles, as those are the only reliable way of getting these Su-22s out here in the long run. Mirage still finding a kill there, so that's good, but Stahl's push into the center that was planned got stopped with that run completely, and now we are back to a waiting position here, 260 points up, but WoW maybe with a slightly better positioning right now to get the jump on in the south, but Stahl's push into the center is slowed down for now.
Yeah, the AUF 1 artillery is going to be horrible against these infantry fortifications of WoW. The 7-man squads will likely not survive the salvo if the salvo is well aimed. And the Dana howitzer, which has also been ordered by WoW, does not have as good of a range, even though it is also an autoloader equipped, similarly powerful weapon. Slightly less powerful, but really it's the salvo length and the rate of fire, which are really important when dealing with the more important than the calibers on this level. But yeah, the Dana will be better at microing away from enemy counter battery, and the Dana will also get in pretty close, so the range difference isn't that huge. But the Roland 3 is also very good at avoiding artillery fire, being both armored and fast.
Yeah, the AMX 30 here moving around, Roland's pushing up right behind it, P4 Milan and Mephistos, those are important here. You want to get some good hits against the T-72s if possible, softening them up, plus also the BMP2s need to be dealt with from a bit more range. And now the French autocannons come into play. Every single one of their AMX-30s carries a 20mm autocannon next to it, which is a really good 20mm as well, as it gets fantastic accuracy. And the Brennus's there are moving nicely into the north. At the same time, Stahl maybe overextending a bit in the south. Commandos there being caught out in the open. They have to disengage as the Dana tries to get involved as well. And the center push here gets a bit stopped by the T-72 and BMP-1s as well. The AMX-30s don't want to go into the close infight there. Let that all to the Hot 2s as Stahl is sending in his little helicopter. Brennus goes down in the south, and Stahl has to be careful. Got a good amount of kills early on, but shouldn't overextend his welcome here. P4 gets shot twice, but gets missed twice with the AT missile rockets in the center. And Stahl really has to be careful here to not lose it all in the center and the south. Gets the T-72 MD in the south. Good kill there with the Mephisto. That's big, but the Wilk at least gets the Mephisto right back. So, yeah, some important kills by Stahl, but the losses come in here as well. Loses the helicopter, loses the Mephisto. So, this is still a really fight on the knife's edge here for Stahl. If you overextend a bit too much, your frontline can collapse quickly here right now.
Yeah, the artillery broke the Saperzi, even though the Dana was also supporting the Polish infantry. Now that Stahl is going to get full infantry control over the entrance area here in the southeast, this might give him enough confidence to go on and goes just, oh, there's an engine destroyed. Something exactly like this could happen. That's the last tank. There's a Surplin that is wounded, but there's also a Brennus. The Wilk and the Fagot are going in for the kill. No mortars here to quick fire smoke at them. Even though a second out one was ordered, immediately Stahl getting another quick response helicopter to try to prevent the breakthrough here.
Yes, the helicopters are pretty important. There's not quite enough AA on the side for Woe, so they can't quite deal with it. And the Brennus here will get killed off by the Dana. Yeah, that's the right focus there. Not having to risk the Wilk against the Milan 2s or anything. Just kill it off from the long range whilst it's still standing. The center has been pushed back as well. And rocket planes here trying to come in. As we get a kill onto the Su-22. Good kill there by the Rolands, finally doing their job. But they are a pretty big investment now, keeping Stahl from getting more frontline units, and they still did get a couple of kills against AMX-10, so yeah, the tank numbers are a bit down, the infantry numbers are a bit down for Stahl as well. Up to 300 points now, and the position isn't the worst. Got a couple of decent kills lately with the artillery and so on, but it's for sure a slight point advantage now on the battlefield for the player in red here.
Yeah, the out ones are getting a lot of shots in, and they're not like debilitatingly expensive considering the damage they can do, especially on this map when all these positions are so predictable. But they are not. If the core attacking force, the Brennuses, the infantry, is taken out there, if they don't have enough recon, the French can suddenly find themselves with only supporting and defending units. And this is why I think Woe really wants to keep having these tank fights, and why Woe is only applying quite mild pressure, trying to coach the enemy into over-investing into something. The Polish scaling is still more powerful than the French, and there's only a 300 points lead currently. Woe ordering two T-72 M1s to go to the middle here, and right after the Saperzi managed to get to the western edge of the middle site, now Woe knows that the enemy has been driven away, and the enemy is likely massing for an attack somewhere else. And by the time that attack happens, the T-72s will be there in the middle, ready to flank or move or fire support. So slow play, no overinvestment. Even the infantry attack that Woe has been consistently investing in is once again only a couple of helicopters and two Saperzi.
Yes, Woe lost the T-72 leader in the north though, so only having the BMP leader now in the far north, in the center area, losing two T-72 leaders so far. The only bigger losses of Woe in this game, together with one plane. And yeah, two annoying losses though, as that means to set up the push into the zone, Woe will need a new CV on the battlefield, or move the other one from the north. And Woe is going for the city push now, so having a CV close at hand would be really nice right now to actually put some pressure onto Stahl. Otherwise, Stahl can play a bit of a delay tactic here. And Stahl already going for a bit of a counterattack in the center. Loses the commandos in the south at the same time. But both sides using their artillery really actively. And the AMX of one start to get some good damage in here as well.
Yeah, the Rospecialne being out there, the supporting artillery being ready, this infantry attack to the town is very, very cheap for what you can actually achieve with it, which is force a complete fortification of the town, force a helicopter, a bomber response. All of this stuff is more expensive than a couple of Sapersi and a Rospecialne. And the AMX then revealed itself in basically not getting any damage done against the Sapersi. So now all this slight pushing here is still feeding into Woe's agenda, even if the Brennus's now mop up the infantry attack because there is no smoke left.
Yes, the Mirage 2200 number one went down here. Second one tried to come in, but as I said, against the Su-22, it struggles real hard. Not able to find a kill. The MiG-21s, together with the Su-22, find a kill here again. So 2 Mirage 200s down, and that's not where you want to be. At least gets the MiG-21, but doesn't get the Su-22. And losing 2 Mirages for 1 MiG-21, absolutely not worth it. And Stahl running low on infantry here right now, gets more Sappers inside, gets some Mistrals into the game as well, as yes, the annoyance of the Su-22s has to be stopped. And moves around the premises a bit more, but they start to run low on fuel here. That would be a really frustrating thing to happen if you just run out of fuel and they get stuck in the open field, as then the T-72s can just push them down.
Yeah, now we can see Stahl is fortifying the town. 3 Sappers units, Milan 2 and a Mistral, which is minimal, but still a minute's worth, more than minutes worth of income. Oh, the Sappers, you get a free kill out of the Sapper. And yeah, the Woe seems to have found some kind of a soft underbelly here, with the infantry and the mech incapable of ousting him from the entry point. Right now, all of these points, a commando unit and even more Sappers coming in here, yeah, all of these are points away from the attack. And if the French infantry, if the French use all their points to buy infantry and to fight against the cheaper infantry of the Poles will slowly develop a critical mass of T-72s that cannot be efficiently countered by ATGMs. Either there's going to be smoke, there's going to be AA, or there's just going to be a long enough fight that the ATGMs run out of practical use cases and the T-72s get too close. All of this is possible with this the strategy of trying to bleed the enemy away on secondary fronts, on the forest, inside the town, and meanwhile build up a superiority on the other parts of the map. It's what I think is happening.
Yeah, artillery coming in for the Fagot in the south again. The AMX of one being busy, but so is the Dana going for the Dragon Para. And it might get it. It most likely will get it now. Last shot landing. It doesn't get the kill there, but actually there is one more. And that one doesn't find the kill either. Dragon Para's last little hit point here. Holding out till the last final hit lands on target. P4 goes down here as well. And Stahl is under real pressure here now, as the south is starting to collapse. The Super Blinde struggling to deal with the T-72s, and that's exactly where you want to be. Having your Wilks in range of enemy AMXs is the perfect situation, and a lot of blue units going down here. And yeah, this shows how to dismantle 5th Blinde, and this shows how, yes, this division is still fantastic and strong, but it is not without counters. The T-72s on this map can make short work out of it, and 20th Panzerner here doing a really good job right now.
Yeah, you force the enemy to buy relatively expensive infantry to fight against your cheap infantry. You buy artillery, which will trade better against their elite infantry, and you you force them to apply a lot of complicated solutions into a very simple problem, which is the T-72. If the French are allowed to decide the going of the game, if you get on the back foot and allow them to build up, you will suddenly think that, well, they have all these good units. They have good units after good units after good units, and that is true. But Stahl here bought a bunch of expensive Rolands, and Woe has been very careful about doing airplay and has not been feeding the Rolands. The planes are still there. At least the Su-22s, the clusters, the more important one. The simple repeated buying of the T-72s and forcing Stahl to micro their stuff to make sure that the Gazelles don't get too close to AA guns, that the infantry don't risk themselves pushing in too far. All of this is difficult play, while buying the T-72 is easy play.
Yes, artillery gets a kill against the Milan too, so the town is getting under pressure here as well. Currently, volunteers engaging against Saperji in the south, and Stahl has high veterancy on his infantry, so they are actually decently capable, but Woe doesn't even lose too much to the Grenadier Voltigier. The Grenadier Voltigier got 2 kills on 2 transports there up north, so at least got their money worth there for this whole ambush situation for a long while, but at the same time, the T-72 numbers here are just getting kind of out of hand, and the lack of AMX-30s is the real deal here. No Mephistos in bigger numbers on the front line. A couple more coming in right now. A couple more support units for the AMXs. But the T-72 number is now a good bit higher. And the BMP-2 number is rising as well. And that's a real big issue.
Yeah, the Mephisto is very powerful. And all the French ATG are very powerful, but they are still ATGMs. They have inherent lacks to themselves, and one of them is that they really can't fight against an enemy that has a good enough recon advantage. The Rozpecialne being out there and showing these Wilks with the advanced Polish fire control system, the Wilks get so many first shot hits against the Stahlbrechers when they get the GSR recon bonus for themselves. And Stahl is just not managing to deal with this. He has a bunch of Gazelles out there, but the Gazelles are getting creeped away by the weapons team, the Zur Yod, that is pushing 9 kph towards the enemy front line. Once again, it's a lot of complicated solutions to a very simple problem.
Yes, Will coming around in the south, finding another Brennus. That's the last Brennus going down here. And now there's only one more Super Blindé here with 19 pen. And afterwards it goes down to 17 pen for all the tanks. And that's not going to be good enough. Gazelle Hot finds a Wilk number 1 here. Wilk number 2 still around, still threatening. And the Gazelles all go down here. The artillery at least finds some kills. The Wilk is going decently low here, so maybe could be hunted down, but still moving away with enough speed that is not quite true either. BMP-2s and T-72s cutting off the northern forest, so Stahlbrecher can't really be forced into Anna either, and maybe Woe slightly overextending in the south, but Stahl has to do a lot of work here to come back, as Woe at the same time comes in with a lot of infantry and BMP-1s, good bit more recon, and just is about to make Anna a red zone completely.
Yeah, the question here is does Stahl have enough recon to realize that Woe's southern side is empty? Does Stahl actually take the ground and not like do they have the confidence? Do they sense the blood in the water, so to speak? If the Surblinde gets taken out, nothing's going to happen. It's just not going to push. It's going to be suicidal and a huge risk of resources to go out without a Dragon Para or a Surblinde. And right now seems to be that Stahl is waiting for the infantry recon, and that might be just enough time for the 2 Piechota Schmeck units to get into the zone, or at least close enough to the zone. Had he just pushed right then and there, like what's happening right now, maybe the BMP-2 wouldn't be in a supporting position here.
Yes, Will gets even the last Super Blindé here, so MX-30 gets a kill afterwards, but is under fire now by BMP-2 as well. at least that's a fight that works out decently so far. Next AMX-30 coming around here, trying to help out. As the BMP-2 fires another missile. And where we got MX-30s now pushing towards the middle, but there is the northern flank here. There's 2 more T-72 M1s. They get pushed back. Infantry is trying to come in, but there is just so much more reinforcements here.
Yeah, the numbers advantage is starting to show here significantly. All of these units that WoW is kind of over-investing into the town is because WoW managed to leave the southern side minimally protected. The ground that was gained and the positions that were gained that now slowly need to be taken back by Stal with the dragons, Dragon Barrage supported by all the tanks. All of this facilitated the attack up north, and I think one of the reasons why Stahl's front line probably is not going to be able to get back there is because of the repeated investments of infantry into the town. The Polish infantry have awful AT weapons, and the French have amazing AT weapons. But this is shown in the cost of these units. The French are going to be just simply more inefficient when they're fighting close quarters like this, and I think WoW's infantry push here, the big push, is kind of like a show of strength and calling the enemy's bluff, saying them, well, you don't have enough HE for this. You don't have the bombers. Your artillery is not good enough, and you can't fight me with infantry. And,
yes.
This said, Stahl taps out.
GG game number 1 here, as Woeisme gets it done. 5th in the perfect example of how to beat the division there. Woe just dismantling it bit by bit here, and Stahl not finding the way of getting the force assembled that 5th Day needs, and that's exactly what you want to have going on here. Woe taking game number 1, and Stahl has to maybe find another way of getting into this. I believe Woe will leave 5th Day open again, and I don't think 5th Day is the way for Stahl to go through here. So they need another division with 5th Panzer and 4th Division not open for them, most likely in the other games either.
Yeah, just looking at the Wilk kill counters here, the fact that these Wilks were so well microed passively, yet just aggressive enough to constantly keep getting these kills, really showed the tank and the rage advantage. I don't think the standard T-72s would have performed anywhere near as close. The increased accuracy and the range really matters in this stuff. The fact that the Wilks were just constantly getting the first shot off, even when they were outnumbered, Woe would micro them well enough, use the smokes to make sure that he would constantly be getting first shots. So the French tanks would be in low cohesion and more likely to miss their first shot, which then gives the T-72 a chance to go in for the kill. Running those Wilks on their own without the constant and very reliable recon coverage would not have worked. I think they would have gotten taken out by hot twos. They would have gotten trapped by something. They would have gotten suppressed, getting too close. But I urge everybody, tank divisions attack with their recon, and they defend with their recon as well.
Yeah, and the Wilks here really doing a fantastic job. The Yacht doing the kills on all the Gazelles. That's actually something that shouldn't really happen like that either, but Star was out of options, so the Hots had to go into places where they kind of wouldn't want to be and had to take the engagements. They did get a couple of kills as well, so it wasn't all for nothing, but it was still a pretty pricey investment there to try to get some kills. And the MX-1s for sure did gold on the other side as well, but they didn't have quite as valuable of a target to hit as you were talking about earlier. The Danas did a really good job, and yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what Stahl brings up for the next game here. As we're going to go into a short break, guys, and then we're going to be back with game number 2. It's a best of 5, so we still have a good bit ahead of us, so don't you worry, it's not going to be over anytime soon. But yeah, quick break, and then we're going to go into Woe versus Stahl, game number 2. So here we go, everybody. Game number 2, and we are on Krider as Woe and Stahl meet another time here in this best of 5. And we have Stal on the left side here, bringing around 2nd UK infantry, and Woe on the right side, bringing around 27th guards. And if you want to support these guys, that you can do that via the Maturino page, as there we crowdfund this whole event, and you can support it there with direct contributions. The players that we see here right now are already in the prize money, as thanks to you guys, we got that stretch goal already. So 2nd and 3rd and 4th place get a bit of the prize pool as well, and the winner of the 2nd division as well. So thanks to you all for that. And yeah, if you want to support it further, you can find the link in the chat right now. And with that said, let's have a look on the picks and bans, as they are pretty interesting as well. 52nd and 5th plan day banned by Stahl this time around. So yeah, doesn't plan to go for the 5th plan day. On the other side, Woe, as expected, with the 3 German divisions, or 2 Germans and the 4 division ban here, the 3 Leo 2 divisions. And that is leaving Stahl with 1 more NATO division that is really high up there. And that is 2nd UK. And yes, that's another real big meta pick. Well, its 27th has fallen off a bit lately. We haven't seen it quite as much, but it might be exactly what Woe planned for this specific matchup. And it's going to be interesting to see how Woe plays 27th here on Krider.
Yeah, I mean, 27th is kind of a natural old school counter to 2nd UK because you get so many short range and medium range self propelled anti air vehicles, so you can have them around from the early start of the game to counter the 2nd's helicopters. You get the BMP-3, which is arguably some of the best long range fire support in the game right now, also doubling as a Bastion launcher, which is amazing. You can just easily take out those warrior IFVs, no problem, and do a lot of damage to the at least suppression damage to the already slow challenger tanks. The SAS is mega powerful unless you attack it from outside 700-meter range with a vehicle. So the BMP-2 AGs with their grenade launchers, in addition to all the other BMP-2 weapons, as well as the super powerful BMP-3s, as well as the always amazing Razvedka BMP-2s, all of these are a hard counter to the SAS as long as WoW controls them well. And the 27th does lack on a lot of stuff. It doesn't have the greatest air tab, especially in the early game. It can only reduce Su-22 rockets, which are powerful enough yet expendable enough to deal with the SAS if WoW wants to get into that. WoW does want to do a lot of combat aircraft, ground combat aircraft, as we saw in the last game, especially the rocket planes. The rocket planes are very cost efficient, but they do take more skill to micro than bombers. And with that said, we're seeing WoW not give the commands yet, but invest quite heavily into the forested side, where I think WoW is just going to get the Razvedka BMP-2s to expect the SAS rush, and if they don't see that, they can just load them onto Razvedka, push further, and gain some free ground right at the start of the game.
Yeah, and it's interesting. I just had a talk earlier today how this map is all about Boris, usually in the opener, and Woe just ignores it completely. Brings BMP-3s for the middle, so yeah, that's where the ATGMs of them are the best, and that's where the long-range support gun of theirs can actually be quite handy as well. That's going to be interesting. Whilst on the other side, we have a good amount of warriors going for the north, actually, so it's not like Stahl is ignoring the north either. And the southern investment is still heavily in favor of Stahl as well, though. So Boris is a free one for Stahl here in the early game. The question is, what can Woe do with the northern part of the map with this? As this is going to be really interesting.
Yeah, the subverting expectations by not going to Boris is pretty smart, considering everything that 2nd UK brings out at the start is so expensive. SAS plus the Saxon is 120 points of income. So putting these 2 Saxons out there, 2 SAS units to just take Boris without any fighting is not gonna pay itself off immediately. The units need to be reloaded and removed somewhere else, and without good enough recon, that's going to be very risky. So likely the SAS are just going to do a little bit of guard duty for the moment. The 27th used to be one of the most powerful divisions back during the tank blob meta. The ability to blob with the Tunguskas, with the Thors, arguably, with the Strela 10 M3s, the next gen Strelas. The Spetsrasvedka is a powerful recon unit, not a good combat unit, decent enough, but the recon there allows for the BMP3s and T80s to shine on long range. Rasvedka BMP2 gives them a really powerful forward deployment unit, as well as, oh, here we can see the Su-70 recon coming in here and targeting the SAS to getting some ground, but the SAS does shoot back with another SAS taking the kill. But that was not a hugely expensive plane, though you don't get a lot of them for 27th.
Yeah, a weird start trying to get for an SAS with them immediately. Like, the Stingers are something to be respected, and yeah, going over the other SAS in itself then sealed the deal. But BMP3 is coming around with its fast flying, hard hitting ATGM, so that's pretty scary. Milan 2 there immediately getting shot by it. The Fox trying to come around, trying to deal a bit of damage, has to be careful there. Doesn't smoke off, and the Fox immediately gets taken down. A Lynx Hellam trying to come around, but the Tunguskas here most likely can deal with it as well. Milan 2 goes down to the BMP3 as well, and Woe's push through the center is really scary here. Stal will get the south, but invested even more into it with mod airmobile. So 400 points of Stahl just in a space where they don't do much, and Stahl has to push now a bit in the north as well, trying to get forward with the Warrior Milan, but that's not easy here. Tunguska immediately gets onto the Lynx Hellam, and the mod Radvedka get onto the Warriors, getting some decent damage there. SAS tried to push forward, whilst the middle is falling apart quickly here for Stahl.
Yeah, and please let us all note, Woe is taking the Rasvedka BMP2 and the Motor Rasvedka at Veterancy 1, because these are not recon units, these are assault units, so you take them on Vet 1. If the Motor Rasvedka, the BMPs were Vet 0, this push would likely have already pushed through.
Yeah, Lynx Hellam getting shot here, SAS under fire. A lot of Lynx rockets actually coming around, so Stahlbrecher feeling the heat a bit, trying to get for some emergency units here, but still Rover Milan at least escapes for now. Rasvedka BMP2 in the north goes down. Warrior there trying to push them a bit further as well. At the same time, a couple of Saxons and the Warrior go down here on the other side. So Stahl's push there. Still got him a +2 so far, but the Lynx Hellam's going down, the Warriors going down. This is not the best look of our player in blue here for the beginning, but for now, the progression is there.
Yeah, Woe is investing into infantry to hold the highway area here, where a Rover CP is trying to get in. But the big attack here is the one on the middle. The long-range engagements that this position allows are exactly where 27th wants to be. 27th units are, it is a high-tech division, and it's got a lot of nice, expensive units. So, which means that the trades that are happening need to go well for Woe, unless he will lose the late game by having traded expensive units against relatively less expensive units. Now, Stahl is doing well with these infantry fights, and Woe has not wanted to invest too much into the fights up north. I think Woe will likely be okay losing some points here and not losing units. The Oteneli Poderski, the Motostrelki Metis, all of these are decent enough units on defense, but if Woe loses them right now, Stahl could maybe press the advantage and get into positions where Woe realistically can't get him out of. The single BMP3 with the Motostrelki is 140 points. You can only get like one of them per minute, and you can't get a second one without having extra points. So building up the BMP3 numbers here will be crucial, I think, because it will be able to counter on defense everything that Stahl brings out.
MiG-29 gets to Rover Milan. Good kill there. We get mod airmobile and airmobile scouts flying in from the rear. Rover Milan here sitting out in the open. A lot of blue units dying lately, including an SAS in the forest. Stahl not able to get a supply there in time. But Stahl still has control over the north of the zone at least, though the unit numbers there are better for Woe. and has a +3 ongoing, and that's a pretty rare thing to happen early on. And Stahl has one potential for upset, as there is a Fox that made it into the rear line here. And that could get pretty devastating quite quickly here for Woe if the wrong units pass by this Fox in the rear zone.
Yeah, Woe actually stopped with the Nonas to fire. The Fox could move out there and get 2 vetted up Nonas. That is I believe 2 cars worth of artillery. That's an insane potential for upset here. The Nonas are very good at fighting in these sorts of infantry forest fights where the targets are relatively close and need to be fired at fast. And oh no, Stal is not realizing this yet. It could be that the Nonas actually get away with this.
Yeah, Stahl had to micro elsewhere, lost the warrior in the forest, is microing the infantry in the south as well, had to micro a challenger there that got fired upon by some ATGMs, so didn't quite realize what's going on, but the Nonas are not moving, so Stahl has the potential for more damage there. Stahl bringing around Gazelle rockets in bigger numbers into the north as well. Gets a bit of damage done there too, supporting the SAS, and Challenger in the center keeps firing as well. Nonas even trying to find one more target here, going for the mod airmobile there in the center, and the the SU-17 here, that's a big danger as well. Trying to find a hit against the Challenger, does miss though. SAS don't find a hit on it with their stingers, and Nonas keep on firing here.
Yeah, the SAS actually almost running out of stingers. So if Stahl doesn't realize this, a core of the air defense might just disappear for a moment before Stahl realizes to buy supply for the SAS. Now the Nonas are still. Oh, the Fox is now firing. The Fox is trying to take out the.
Oh!
And the Nonas.
The Nonas spotted it. They were too close, and the direct fire 30% accuracy, but it got pushed up here by the veterancy on it. And yeah, the heat round actually finds the targets there. Nonna getting the kill before the Fox can even get a single one of them. Oh no, that's unfortunate for Stahl. Getting at least a single one of these Nonnas would have been real nice. It would have taken away the capacity of the Nonnas to one-shot an infantry leader. And yeah, that's a real unfortunate time there for the Nonna, for the Fox and for Stahl with that.
Yeah, now just look at the middle here and look at the differences in unit composition. There are Foxes, which are light. There are Milans, which are light and unarmored. There are airmobile scouts, which are good enough but can be destroyed on long range by fire support. And there's a Rapier FSP-1, which is a weapons team, which means it cannot follow the enemy if it cannot follow its forces into the middle. The unit combination for Stahl is outside of the Challenger, which is a defensive tank due to it being so goddamn slow. Or none of this really is that useful in attacking the unit combination that Woe has, or at least what Woe wants to have. The Nonas constantly firing at the soft targets, the Tunguskas peeking out there to take the Gazelles if they ever push, BMP2s and 3s shooting on long range, and eventually, I'm sure, T-80s to also hold the front line. Right now, the T-80 isn't that necessary because there's so few challengers, and an Su-70 AT plane can just dive in and take them out. A little detail about the Su-17, it has 240 seconds of autonomy, which means that it can actually fly around on reserve like this quite easily.
Yeah, and if it can find a Challenger, it can do a lot of harm. The Challenger at least can survive a frontal hit thanks to its good 18 frontal armor, but obviously doesn't enjoy that one hit either. But the Challenger is pushing up the hill. Ooh, might find a Tunguska for its troubles. Gets the Tunguska killed there. Su-17 not getting in there. Stahl even goes back to capture into the middle here right now. Just slightly out of range. Su-17 ATs coming around. 2 of them. 1 getting a Fox. We have a Phantom out. Phantom tries to get a hit onto the Su-17, and the SAS help out big time there as well. Next Su-17 goes down as well. 2 Su-17 AT down. Motostrelki down in the middle as well. And the Challenger is still alive. Sure, a Fox and a Rover went down, but those are replaceable losses. And getting 2 Su-17 ATs in this matchup, that's a big victory here for Stahlbrecher.
Yeah, this victory brought to you by a supply truck for the SAS. We see Woe building up an attack here. There are numerous infantry as well as two BMP2s that are going to be trying to push the Bravo, most likely. This is a way, of course, to try to win the grind battle up north. The Foxes and the Challengers and the better infantry are winning the fight up north for Stal, and Woe is asking himself here, am I going to fight this on its own terms, or am I going to actually invest into fighting another fight? And that is what's happening here, most likely, with the Boris attack. Not just relieving pressure on the center position, but also relieving pressure up north, because the infantry reinforcements that are going to be needed are most likely are going to be sent to the defensive fight and not the offensive.
Yeah, Rover CP here coming in for the center again for Stahlbrecher. Stahlbrecher currently still reinforcing the north, and we're about to see that big infantry plus BMP2 push into the south. Mod Airmobile there having to disengage. There is still the two SAS in that forest. The Challenger and the Rover Milan are pretty capable support if they can get into the right spots, but it's not an easy time here. And at the same time, Tunguska pushing back some more Gazelles, but the Chelly 2 here is doing a fantastic job. BMP2 has to be careful. Smokes off in time, but one more of them got killed earlier. Fox at least gets killed off here. And the Chelly did really go hot in that forest. I've never seen such an efficient Chelly in a forest fight.
Yeah, I mean, if you give attention to any unit can be micro well, and especially if it's has superior firepower and armor to everything else that is out there. But if that Challenger had just a little bit more speed, then that micro power would become multiply exponentially. Oh, here we can see the Challenger actually getting targeted, I believe, by Nonas or maybe a BMP3 missile, pushing the Challenger up the center here to low cohesion. And now the Rover CP going out there, but the Spetsnaz will just be able to kill it freely.
Yeah, the Rover CP there, a bit unnecessary. The HE bombs of the Jaguar landing on the other side, but not really finding anything of note either. So, bit of a waste of time there by Stahl. One of the SAS in the south already got annihilated as well, and that southern situation is not developing in Stahl's favor right now. Stahl still on a +2 right now, but that is going to change soon as, we see the CV capturing the rear zone there now fully, and Stahl is not close to the 2000 points yet, and we still have 26 minutes on this map ahead of us, so there is more than enough time to get 1300 points, even on a slow taking map like this, for Woe in this game.
Yeah, and Woe has right now bought the first tank. The first T-80BV is coming in to challenge the Challenger up north, most likely, to balance out the fire superiority. There's also an Mi-24V which has Kokon missiles, which are also threatening to the Challenger. Now with the investment of these two units, suddenly the fights up north are probably going to start changing their shape. And Woe has been surviving with minimal investment there for a long time now, and it has paid off because and you can see the attack down south, combined arms against few isolated but very powerful special forces units. Combined arms absolutely decimated them, and as the ATGM start going into Boris, they will likely start trading blows against Challengers on long range. And even if the Challengers are good in these kind of slug fights against IFVs, they're not going to be able to get back in there. They're losing the map control around that area, so to speak.
SAS? Can the SAS find the kill onto the MiG-29? Yes, they can. The Phantom goes down on the other side as well, though. And Rover CP here, a bit risky from Stahl. Yeah, Stahl got up to stop the tick there for a second, but CB gets into the south as well. So we will see Stahl going down against a tick now. And Woe starts to build up the points necessary in a second here. There we go, first points on the scoreboard for Woe, and that's a big issue here for Stahl. With only a +1, that's actually kind of fine. +1 is pretty slow, but Woe is now chasing and closing the gap, and that's not something Stahl wants here to go on. Stahl wants to keep it off a tick for as long as possible, but right now, the only thing on the battlefield are challengers, and that's maybe not quite good enough.
Woe is doing an infantry attack against the challengers here. The Nona's stun and damage and button low cohesion the vehicle first. And now BMP2s and Motorstrelke are just driving in there. They managed to get a Rapier FSP1, which will likely, immediately air support coming in here to take out the Lynx. Only MiG-29, as you said, Stahlbrecher has been getting good kills, especially against the air. And right now, as the trades seem to be going so much on Woe's favor, the juggernaut of the mid to late game 27th seems to have been unleashed. If you look at the Stahl's unit deployments up north, you can just completely see how bled away the second UK has become. And right now, or Jaguar diving in and maybe getting a BMP AG out there, important to remove those units if Stahl doesn't want to lose complete map control over this crossroad area.
Yeah, challengers.
Pulemechiki squad. Oh, down south, Pulemechiki squad is engaging a motor. Will likely win that fight quite fast.
Yeah, especially with the Saxon not helping out. The Lynx is coming around towards the south, trying to find some shots there, but not finding it so far. The +1 still trickling in. Stahl at least has a bit of a picket line in the north that can catch things trying to pass by. So that's decent, but invests into a lot of IRVs for the south, and the BMP3s will be hard to kill here. No AA here just yet, so the Lynx maybe could come around for a bit, but that AA is on the way now with a Torm. Mi-24 VAA is around there coming in as well, and that's going to be annoying for the Lynxes as well, as these Igla helicopters can one-shot them and can hunt them down decently. So there is a really, really solid issue for Stahl here in the combined arms situation right now, and it's there on the other side. Woe has a decent combined arms here with the 27th on the board now.
Yeah, just spotting the BMP3s. If you can see a front line based around the BMP3 fire control, that's when 27th has been allowed to build up. Just look at down south, you have a BMP, second BMP, in the middle you have BMP engaging right now, a BMP3. So, and then next to the on the zone and in northeast, you also have a BMP3. Now that these expensive units are out there, every engagement that's going to happen is going to be influenced by the BMP's massive fire superiority. And so if Woe wants to attack, they just need to keep sending the cheap enough infantry or the very powerful armored tanks forwards, and the BMPs will be able to slowly trade up any long-range engagement or fire support task.
Rover Milan here under fire, likely going down soon. Trying to dodge it, as we have a decent amount of warriors arriving here now for the south. Finally, some reinforcements, and as I say that, Stahl actually just decided to move them north for one more push into the zone in the north, but there's a good amount of BMP2s and T-80s now around, so I'm not sure how that is supposed to work here. Stahl still ahead in points, but Woe slowly taking up, and Woe can go for Gregory quite soon here, I would say, and then this game will become increasingly difficult for Stahlbrecher to handle.
Yeah, Woe right now just needs to be really careful and not do anything risky. Don't overextend. Don't you still have 20 minutes, and getting 1,000 points is not that difficult if you actually win on every front. And Woe is currently set to win on every front, every engagement, every attack that's going on here. The positions and the unit are just better for Woe. Now the big one will happen around the crossroads at the highway on the middle. Once this crossroad is captured, it's going to be possible to cut off the northern Gregory reinforcement route to the west. And if you cut that off, you will win the fights eventually if you pay enough attention, send enough troops out there. And Stahl really not gonna gain anything by sending this, having these singular units be out there in front with Mi-24s, Pulamachikis, and in just a moment, I have a feeling something's gonna go and dive to take out this challenger. These engagements here are just not good. Stal sending 3 squads of infantry out there. No, but they're gonna be on the line to be shot by the better IFVs.
Yeah, warriors coming along. BMP 2 AGs sitting in here. On the other side, Warrior Milan have to be careful. One of them goes down on transport. We see a plane coming in though. Jaguar HE. Oh, that could be a good hit. No, it didn't drop its bombs. It goes down to the MiG-29. Oh, so painful there for Stahlbrecher. Milan 2 here going down as well. And the combined arms is starting to look really flimsy here on the side of Stahl. Has a Challenger Mark II still around. Has one warrior, but against the BMP3s and BMP2 AGs, that's not good enough. And they have to disengage again. Challenger Mark II gets a kill at least against the BMP2 AG. Maybe can get another snipe there, but for now, the +1 is what Woe is needing, and Woe eventually will need a +2 here somewhere, but it does look like Woe is starting to get there.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the reinforcements here, I mean, Stahl is bringing out stuff in Lynx rockets, the 70-point rocket helicopter transport, dropping the specialized close quarters air mobile pioneer squad. This is not the unit right now. This is an offensive unit. This is a unit that you can buy, you can transport it quickly, you can get a lot of stuff done, and the air mobile pioneers are good enough to win fights against both infantry and vehicles. But if you have the air mobile pioneers holding a front line against a mechanized push with the Tunguskas right there, so the Lynx is just a liability. Oh, now a Jaguar cluster dropping in, trying to get the...
Okay.
And taking out...
That was a
massive.
good one. It went down for it,
Massive.
but that was a really, really important hit there. That slows down the North, and that keeps it as a +1 at least for a decent amount of time now. The Nonna's still around, and still annoying Stahl a decent amount. Stahl's artillery currently not capable of doing much there. It's only... No, it's nothing at all. I thought for a second that one of the ATGMs was in water, but it's actually nothing at all here. Challenger gets another kill against the BMP3. Gets another kill against the Tunguska. So the Challenger Mark II here. MVP of the game so far for Stahl. But it might not quite be enough. We will see. As the Mi-24K under fire. So that could be a decent kill potentially. But the Tor is on the way. And gets enough stress damage on it. That this is not a great thing.
Yeah, so far, I mean, this stabilization by killing that T-80 was huge here, especially because time is on Stahl's side. Current +1 will not result in a Woe victory. And Stahl really just needs to set up units to engage to fight the kind of fights that Woe wants to fight. Stahl is not in a position to counterattack here, and even though it might, you want to counterattack. You're playing a light infantry division. You want to be on the offensive. You want to be bleeding away your enemy and forcing them to pay attention to you here. But Woe has so much stuff on board. Just the helicopters being able to move around here, just the practical air control that Woe has due to having so much anti-air here. This is not an offensive stance for Stahl.
Yeah. With the javelins in the north and the infantry there, at least keeping Gregory pretty clean for now. And the TADBV there, taking a shot from the Challenger. This Challenger really, it's out of fuel there at this point by now.
Yeah.
Like, if Woe would realize that, if Woe would hit it with artillery, it could do nothing about it. Nonnas could kill this Challenger right now. And there is no supply anywhere close, but it ran out of fuel at such a perfect spot where it can still be annoying on that road with a really weird line of sight. And the enemy has to respect it, and it had done its job already before and just keeps on doing its job. That S-Challenger is one of the key units here right now for Stahl, and Stahl is keeping the south clean right now either, as they is enough ATGM. There are 2 challengers here, so Woe isn't pushing that without TADs as well. And by now we have 3 challengers here in the north, so not quite seeing how the TADs break through that on the other side either. So it might be down to infantry, but that's going to be a long way.
Yeah, the infantry fights for Stahl sending in the armored PO fire, just not paying off here. And as Stahl seems to want to do a mech attack here, this risks a gigantic overextension. The fact that there are 3 T-80s waiting right behind this first corner, that there's a bunch of Conqueror's M units around the place here in the flanks, not to mention a recon helicopter that can follow the enemy even if they retreat and keep them in their sights. And now another Jaguar taken out here by a Tor missile. Not gonna happen right now.
It survives, and the challengers here, the one on the hill got smoked off, but just a slight bit too late, so it got another hit against the TADBVs here, and the other challengers actually got good hits there as well, and yeah, they are doing their job. Oh no, Conqueror's M doesn't find a good hit though. One of them has engine incendiaries, and might get stuck here, gets side-shotted by the Conqueror's M. Oh, good positioning there by Woe, finding the line of sight there with the Conqueror's M. Being really critical about that, and that's a good kill. TADBV on the other side, though, it starts to go down as well, and is already used its smoke, so the second one, okay, that still had the smoke ready, popping it now for the defense. TADBVK versus Challenger leader, Warrior Milan here, slowly pushing up with its good autocannon, eating up the Pulamachiki. As we get in with the second challenger, can it find a hit there? No, the TADBVs seem to be able to escape. Motostrelki with RPG-26, which is pretty good on the shorter ranges, pushing towards the challenger that is out of ammo. And we are still 12 minutes away from the end of the game. Woe still on the +1, and the challenger finally goes down there as Woe finds the side shot. And that's a bit annoying for Stahl. Stahl trying to find some victories north of this with some warrior movement, but has to be careful to not get overrun here in the center. Still has 2 challengers, still has a hell arm. Well, I say that right as the hell arm goes down, but the amount of smoke play here out of Woe is fantastic. TADBVK actually went down a second before that as the challenger finds the kill, so BVK leader is down, and yeah, Stahl needs to find a way of stabilizing the front line. Challenger numbers most likely really low at this point, but the challengers that are still there are key, and airmobiles with the fantastic Law 80 on the way in.
Yeah, okay, so Stahl's plan seems to be backline command helicopter action, which might work.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that would be big. Not sure anything will spot this. Yeah, Woe is only on the +1 right now. Capture of the rear zone would actually take that away completely and make it a +1 for Stahl. And Stahl doesn't need to get that many points here to keep the lead going. Stahl just needs to buy a bit more time here, as we are 10 minutes away from the end of the game. Stahl still leading with 800 points, thanks to the nice +3 that Stahl got early on in the game. More warriors coming in here, but the front line in the north is collapsing a bit too quickly for my liking here. This is a couple too many kills in a row here that were just blue units dying, as the Gazelles here against the Tor, not in a great spot either, and only 2 challengers and an airmobile left right now on the front line. A couple more units coming in, but at the same time, the Gazelle here now, yeah, trying to find its way towards Elena. Let's see if Woe can get that killed off quickly enough, or if that capture actually goes through for Stahl. Really important movement there for Stahl right now, whilst the challengers desperately try to stop the BMP. It gets the BMP 2 killed. Ooh. Second BMP is getting under fire by the Lynx rockets as well. Oh, Woe at least smokes that one off. Has to be careful though, and the blue reinforcements come into the town now, so they might be able to stop this. Challenger on the hill is still pretty low. Has to be careful there, as the TADBV goes down though, so no TADBV. Next one coming up only now, and that might give blue enough time to get through this. Challenger smokes off in time on 1 hit point, and the Gazelle rocket is coming in. MiG-29 might just shoot it down there. No, it disappears beforehand, and the Gazelle CP is coming in. This is big. This might win Woe the game.
Yeah, so Woe is buying like AA guns. Woe might be running out of troops here. And these AA guns are not ordered to go to Elena. I did not spot that. I don't think they're going up to the front line. There is a lack of fire support here. Fire support needs to be brought out quickly, and the 90 kph truck for the AA gun is the best choice, and that just kind of might allow Stal to repair the challengers up north. There's one more challenger in the deck apparently getting bought out here, even though they're veteran C1. There's tracker peers, there are hell arms, there's even more links rockets to support this. And even with the smoke wall, even if the BMP2s and the TATs get close out there, there's just slightly too much, I think, for Stal to actually allow for Woe to permanently capture this position here. Now, even though an MTLB and recon go and take Elena back, I think the damage might be done here. It's only 8 minutes. When when the game was at that 20 minutes, Woe had everything going on for him, and then those engagements. I'm not gonna say Stahl did them perfectly. I'm not gonna say that the strategy was perfect or airtight, but they did work. It did work. Now Woe is just running out of time here.
Yeah, Woe needs a CV, maybe even towards Gregory. Could go for Anna potentially as well, as Woe has a numerical advantage in the south. Is getting armor +2 now, and that is pretty big, but the BMP2 might get pushed out here one more time. Airmobiles running into a lot of artillery there, but they have the low 80, so they only need one good hit there. And the T80 BVK is pretty low already again. Challenger goes down before it can find a kill. There's a warrior around. Oh, but the cluster bomber! It gets the kill onto one CV. Second CV is right at the corner there. The airmobiles need to push just a bit further forward. They don't do that right now. Next plane might be brought in though. Mi-24K goes down. Second one still around. Rapier FSB is out of ammo right now. So that is pretty frustrating. And the airmobile is not quite breaking through the BMP2. So the +2 continues. The 80 points per minute here continue for Woe. And that might barely be enough. It's gonna be close here. It might barely not be enough actually.
Yeah, there is the single BMP2 survival here. And there is no spot this. And if you look at the positioning by Woe, it is not possible to shoot at it from a different direction. There needs to be artillery or bombers, and artillery has not been bought on for Stahlbrecher at all. The 175mm might actually be able to take it out. And now even the Challenger moving slightly away, with the Mi-24V overextending slightly.
Yeah, tractor up here coming in a really key moment. Challenger still staying in here, actually firing onto that Mi-24 as the Challenger from the north getting involved. There is no artillery here for Stahl or anything to try to clean that up, but there is an MTLB now moving, trying to get into the northern zone, trying to get into Gregory. That could be enough. The rover there of Stahl is pretty close to that Motto Strelky, but the airmobile is most likely going to clean that up. So that at least shouldn't be an issue. But the BMP2 is still there. Jaguar HE needs to find a way. Oh, BMP3 flank! Oh, the Challenger's in a big trouble situation there now. Oh, the RPG-27s, they will do a lot of work. This is an important key moment, but the BMP2 got moved out there. It's actually moved into the open. It was worried about the bomber. The bomber didn't strike on it though. Got pushed back. BMP2 now moving in. T80 BVs is the one that's getting killed there. The BMP2 not getting hit by the Challenger, as the BV most likely is going to go down here in a second. But the Challenger Mark II in the center is going down to a lot of RPG fire as well. So that's a problematic situation here for Stahlbrecher. Has no smoke here anymore, and the RPG-27 getting closer. Not quite in range against the Challenger leader. That one is still running away. Challengers have to be careful in the rest of the map as well. The rover is actually moving back here, trying to stay around all of this. Motostrelkis barely going down in time, as the Challengers try to find the BMP2 in the southern forest here, try to stop the take, but at the same time Woe is about to get the MTLBU into the north. The rover running back fanatically there, trying to get into that zone just in time. Tunguska going down, but there is still 2 infantry units with RPG-26s in this, so they might be good enough. No, they're not. The rockets getting a good amount of stress damage onto all of this, and the challengers spot them. Challengers start to stun them down. The BMP-2 is still around, +3 now with the CV coming into the north. There is an SAS, but it's not in a position to stop the MTLB. And a +3 should be enough for Woe now. So this is still a nail-biter. There's no new real line action towards Elena or anything like that.
The challenger is pushing in to maybe get a sight on the BMP-2.
Oh, one challenger goes down to the Medis. Medis with an important side shot here. And the challenger is still super stressed out, so its aim time is not going to be amazing there. Tor goes down, so the air here is basically gone by now. The Lynx rockets can do a lot of work. Rover in the north has to run away from BTRs. Challenger is moving around there. HE plane coming in for the MTLB, or the MTLB might fall back right into it. It actually did move. No, it moves forward. Will not get hit there. The BTRs opening up against the Rover falls. As the BMP-2 is still alive. Challenger coming in from the other side now. Trying to get the kill there. The other Challenger leader still around. Medis went down. Challenger still shooting things up, but the north gets captured. That's a +4. That's not good. And yeah, the BMP finally goes down. That's going to reduce it to a +3, but at the same time, the south is falling apart here as well, and Woe is on the way to overtake this. It's only 3 minutes, but it's also only 200 points at this stage. Lynx CP desperately trying to get here, but I think Woe has done it.
Yeah, I mean, in these final seconds, we see all of these engagements have attritioned away every ability of Stal to actually move and take ground here. 27th is just way too powerful, and the BMP-2 positioning and being able to have the offensive stance for Woe on the middle highway area was that was really quite something. Every time I felt like Stahl had finally gotten enough troops to capture that area back, Woe did something, whether it be the BMP-3 counterattack that we have seen done on this the flanking attack. We have seen it done here before, and I think the only reason why it comes to us as a surprise is because the terrain and the road is pretty difficult to spot from high up. But I think that was exactly the right thing to do for Woe, to just keep that position going on for just a little bit more time. And I have a feeling that Woe probably has basically their entirety of their deck out right now. And yes, now as Woe is finally reaching the points threshold, gotta say, Stal did not go down without a fight. There were moments when I felt like Woe didn't have it, that the trades had been too bad and that it was too slow. But in the end, Woe managed to control well enough and make good enough decisions. And you just can't, if you also have the superior late game division, the better player will if they don't make an overextension, if they don't get outplayed, that's most likely going to be a win, even if it's what do you like on thin margins. Like, it's pretty difficult to imagine a 27th player losing late game fights on this map, on this level, without either making huge mistakes or the enemy making some awesome plays. And I think Stahl did make especially the challenger play out there, just repeatedly owning Woe with a worse tank. That's great.
Yeah, but the infantry plays in the early game went into Woe's favor. The taking of the north was pretty key, and Stahl got a lot of points, but not quite enough points, and Woe gets to the 2-0 here and gets onto the match ball already. This, in the end, yeah, decisive victory with the KD, and pretty clear victory, and then the end with the points as well. More than 200 points difference, as they got the whole map there in the end, and the second UK just collapsed completely.
Yeah, and I think that was also a pretty nice show of how second UK's units are not necessarily fit for purpose. The constant usage of the rocket lynxes against a division that runs Tunguskas in every major push, and that's just the lynxes were never getting their values worth. The you like Stahl was never managed to or got to play the sort of helicopter play that he wanted to. Even the gazelles that were more actively used were repeatedly just getting held up in the back reserve. And I think 27th was the right choice against the second UK in basically every way.
Yeah, the challengers did really well. The Jaguar cluster and so on came in clutch in some moments as well, but the AA always killed them off before they could do too much damage. And the infantry fights with the BMP2 support went in the favor of Woe most of the time as well, as the BMP2s did beat the warriors there, and yeah, the warriors not quite able to do the same. And really well made decision making there in the early game of Woe, not going for the Bravo brawl, knowing that they are the slower division, they have to take the time, taking the time, and then winning it right with the bell at the end and getting the W with points here. So Stahl on the ropes now, has to get back up, as if there's another game win here for Woe, Woe will win the whole match, and Stahl needs to get 3 in a row now. So let's see if we can get the comeback started, or if Woe will move on to the semifinals to the grand finals in the next one here in the semifinal. Quick break, guys, and then we're gonna be back with game number 3. So here we return, everybody. Game number 3, and Woeisme is on match point here, with Stahl having to win the coming 3 maps here to turn it around. And Stahl returns to the 5th play as we are up into the first game's matchup again. Though this time with a map that I would say is maybe a bit more down to 5th Plinda's liking, as the band's pretty similar, though 2nd Panzer Grenadier, the division that Woe bans this time, but Stahl banning the 5th Panzer himself, 4th ZMAC and 56 VDV there gone as well. And yeah, the matchup that we got here is a pretty classic one. And yeah, I want to take this second here to thank you all for watching, guys. And yeah, thanks for all the support throughout the season so far. It's really amazing. And yeah, if you haven't clicked the like button on YouTube, maybe consider doing that. If you haven't subscribed yet and or followed on Twitch, maybe consider doing that as well, so that you don't miss the next semifinal on Thursday, so that you don't miss the grand final that is coming up next week on the weekend. And yeah, let's get into the action here now. As you also obviously should follow our Word Glory's channel. But yeah, what do you think about the matchup here?
I mean, looking at here, Woe is doing almost an identical opener. 3 Salamandra, Recon Helicopter, 3 Honker Rus Rozspecialny, the single coup, couple of ATGMs, and a 2 tank, 2 8 BMP2 opener here. The biggest difference here is the early invest from Woe is the early investment into firepower. This map is way less passive than Black Forest. You get rewarded by more points by pushing here. So playing it slow as Black Forest isn't really that possible. The Rospeciani have been targeted to go into key locations very daringly. This is not passive play from Woe. Woe is going into daring frontline positions with all 3 Rospeciani. So having the firepower here with the 2 with both the mech and the Salamandras, I think Woe wants to win the opener fight. Woe wants to fight in the opener. Woe likely has some playing game planned out here, and there's a coup already to fight off the Mirages when they start hunting what I think will likely be Woe's rocket play. Now, Stahlbrecher is also investing into anti-helicopter and a Brennus, but there's only a single so far, only a single Dragon Para recon unit on the ground. The Alouette does not count, and the Dragon Para, if put into bad position or maybe even taken out by the Ross Specialny while on deployment, the 5e could be distraught early on. Now, 5e is the more powerful division in the opener, I believe, but Woe is a very good player, and Woe will have as good control as you can get in this game, especially if this is a planned tactic, and I think it very much is. And yeah, we're gonna see Woe is gonna be the underdog in the open. I think that's just utilizing the Ross Specialny advantage might actually win it for.
Yes, T72 MD M1Ds here coming around, Wilkes coming in here through the center as well. The Fagot and the Coop right behind it. So this situation is looking pretty decent for the setup. Like a pretty standard vote setup with the helicopters, and it's going to be interesting to see if Stahl can find maybe a bit more of an opening early on here this time around. Is focusing pretty heavily into the south as well. Both sides kind of ignoring Feodor and the Boris point in the north completely. Only an Alouette's going around there for scouting purposes. On the other side, we will see one BRDM Malyutka coming in there now, which is just a pretty terrible but really affordable HGM carrier. And so it's going to all come down to how will it go in the opener here, and can Stahl get maybe a bit more of a snowball going before the T72 numbers might get a bit too high. Though on this map, the AMX's longer range can be a bit more crucial than on the previous maps. On Black Forest, you could take the T72s into the shorter range engagements a bit easier, so the Wilks are a bit more important on this map even than they were on Black Forest. And one of them out here from the get-go, and there's only a second one when they come with 2 vets, so this is going to be interesting.
Yeah, the tanks are just going to move way more than they due to the nature and design of this map. And I think the more the tanks keep moving, the more the French have the advantage because the tanks are way more maneuverable than the T-72s. And yeah, the AMX-10 and Brennus is going down the middle. So right in the opener, Stahl is going to have like mech fire superiority around the center to towers area, and that might surprise Woe. Woe's tanks are going another direction, and the worst case scenario could be that a Surblinde could move into a position to side shot a T-72 while the T-72 is moving into a lane.
And yeah, the Honker here coming in quickly with their good heavy MG on top as well. And especially with the special force on 3 vet, that can be pretty deadly as well. The Dragon Para will be seemingly a bit faster there, though the MI2 US will spot it quite quickly here. MX 10 RC here coming around, but immediately disengaging, realizing what's going on here. The Ruse number 1 though, getting really close. The Dragon Para as special forces, they can deal decent damage, but they only have a smoke. They don't have anything else to deal with this. No AT weapon there, and the Salamandra already firing. So yeah, the Dragon Para most likely going down here. Don't smoke off just yet. MI2 going down to the AA, and infantry is coming in quite quickly as well, but Salamandra still firing. Oh, can they find a kill here? 1 down, 1 US down. The infantry pushing forward. A P4PC went down in the south. Oh, unfortunate times there for our player in blue, losing the CV, so the tick not going to build up as big as potentially possible, as the T72 M1D on the other side not capturing the rear zone. But at the same time, a good amount of MI2s at least go down, and the blue team still has a siege on this whole situation, and the T72s haven't arrived while the AMXs are here.
Yeah, the T-72s were just a little bit too slow to start winning this fight. Now, what has this achieved for Woe? Woe has managed to get the Emma point. Emma has now a Recon, Malutka, and a Strela, but none of that, all of that is good, but none of that is really that relevant if the rest of this fight now goes for Stahl. if a single T-72 gets lost here, the currently 2 Puma commando groups are going into Boris and Fedor. The rocket planes coming in as I suspected here, but they are not really getting anything out, at least immediately. If these commandos are allowed to take practical control of Boris and Fedor, and Stahl gets a reasonably powerful attack in the middle here, Woe is going to be hard defense. Woe is going to lose the momentum very fast. It all depends on not losing these T-72s, right?
Yeah, gets the pillars infantry at least, so they can't do the damage here right now. 3 Apprentices in the rear here. They are pretty strong, but one of them is damaged, and on the other side, the AMX T-72s are still in fine shape. BMP-2 went down, but an AMX-10 RC Super Blinde went down as well, so situation here for Stahlbrecher manageable, but the position is better for Woe.
Yeah, the Grenadier Voltigeur is gonna get taken here. There's not that much for Woe on the ground here, and as Stahl likely using the AMX-10s and maybe some helicopters gains a little bit more map control here, I think Stahl is in a better position to win when the ashes settle, so to speak. The post-apocalyptic, post-opener world will be given to those with the faster infantry transports.
Yes, and Stahl came in with 2 commandos, realizing that everything went down to the south, and get 1 commando close to Fyodor, 1 into Boris. So setting up some real annoyance there for Woe in the later stages of the game. Being like, yes, sure, you can get my zone in the south, you can get Emma, but I take both zones in the north, and then it doesn't really matter. And Woe also lost all the units in Elena, so Stahl actually might come out of this with a tick here once more, whilst the Mirage 200 trying to hunt down the mix, coming in a bit too late. The Renaissance all still alive this time around. Stahl hasn't lost any there, and the MXs here with a lot more flanking maneuver, especially with the capture of the northern parts. Like, that allows for some annoying real line action potentially even that Stahl could set up with this.
Yeah, so on this map you have the 2 towers, the 2 high rises here, 3 high rises anyways, that people often fight the urban area from these towers, and capturing your enemy's tower is like immediately feels very significant. But since the very start of this map being played, I think this has been a noob trap. Investing too much into securing the enemy tower simply puts you in a position where you can be contained from multiple directions. And right now we see Woe invested the forces that were supposed to take Elena into getting the enemy tower. But right now they're only doing cover for Emma. They are not in a position to push further, and pushing further would be an overextension. And the AMX-10 is preventing them from moving back into the middle point of Elena, where a Grenadier Voltigeur is already going in and cutting off the reinforcement route. And now Woe realizes this. Woe does not want to be trapped into this zone and moves the mech out. And there is no Hot 2 right now, no Milans covering this, but the AMX-10 might be getting a hit.
Yeah, and the apprentices, they're getting repaired. 2 of them already coming back into the center here, and they have decent pen with the 19 pen from the depleted uranium rounds that the apprentice gets. That's why it's a good bit more potent in this matchup than the normal AMX 30B2. And it's, yeah, moving here towards the center. Jaguar AT coming out as well. That can be pretty crucial in these fights too. Smoke at least comes out on the other side. BMP2 gets missed, so the Jaguar here getting pushed back without a kill so far. Might come around another time, still has 1 more missile remaining, and it's a +2 now for Stahl. Stahl up to 500 points already, so that's a nice lead. Down to a +1 for now, but should get Elena first as well, as the P4PC already moves there, and the MX-30s might protect it as well. Oh, good hit against the Wilk! Wilk does survive. It has 17 frontal armor and 11 hit points, so it doesn't quite get one-shotted, but it is in a pretty tough spot right now.
Yeah, right now, as the 3 Brenuses and an AMX-10 are mobile here, this is the point for Stahl to start punching a little bit. The enemy half of the enemy armored force is currently routed away at one hit point. Right now, there is actually a second Wilk going on in northeast. Woe does have one supported by some recon. But the problem now, we can see the power of 5e. The Mephistos, the Tarasks, these are super fast deployed, reasonably priced units. And the single Mephisto there, as long as it gets microed and as long as the recon doesn't allow itself to fight on the T-72's fighting range, the Mephisto is going to keep a hold on that T-72 Wilk for a long time. And every moment that the Wilk is not in effectively doing fighting is more time for Stahl to press the advantage and the map control that they have right now.
Yes, we are at a +2 back now for the blue side. So Stahl setting up a bit more of a lead again. On the other side, Woe is coming in with a good amount of forces in the rear. The Polish having their dirt cheap BMP1s. They don't have smokes, but they have a ATGM. It's a Malutka M, sure, but it is an ATGM that can stun down the enemy, that can fire at a decent range, and their main gun can be annoying as well. So the BMP1s there coming in for cheap, bringing in cheap infantry as well, and on the other side, the numbers are a bit more limited, but obviously more specialized forces. Mephisto, MX-10 RC coming along here, and the South and Anna still holding on. Like, Woe maybe attempted to go through Anna. If one of the AMX apprentices would have fallen earlier, that could have been possible, but Stahl this time around with a good bit better grasp of this game than in the first match on Black Forest, and the MX-30s here in a really strong position.
Yeah, the Woe is having his infantry up in Elena, not garrisoned, but actually hidden behind the buildings, which is a little piece of super defensive micro, not allowing the Brennises or the enemy with the potential recon advantage to do any free damage, while the GSR does actually in the tower, flight control tower, does actually provide amazing recon and 2 kills for the AT plane. Oh, that's a big fun for Woe. Woe immediately balance of power switches, 2 Roland 3s out there in the front, which is good against air, but with only a single Brennus, that's not enough firepower, not even with the AMX to trade against the Polish if the Polish have tank support. And the Polish have more than enough tank support, 2 command tanks already.
AMX-10 snipes the CV though, so good CV snipe number 1 there. Jaguar AT trying to find some kills as well. The M1Ds also have 17 frontal armor. They are, and the T-72 M2s 17 frontal armor as well, so the Wilkes is not one-shot material here for the Jaguar AT. Can't quite do what the other AT plane just did to the Brennis's back, so +2 here for Stahl. But yeah, those AT planes were nasty. Side shot material here though, potentially. No, smoke comes out. Jaguar does miss the shot, and we have a Coop here in the rear. Coop not finding the kit, and we see Woe starting to push through, and this is a critical moment here now. This could snowball out of control real quick. Stahl has to find a way to deal with this. His plane just teleported out in the last second, so at least that one survived. But yeah, he has 1 Brennus. He doesn't have any ATGMs here right now. There is no AA on the battlefield, so the investment that he does right now, that is great. 2 Gazelle Hots coming in, they can do a lot of work here. They are absolutely key. He can protect them against fighters with the Roland 3s, but he needs them. He would have needed them right now, right here already. At least he gets them in now, as they still can do some work and maybe punish an overextending Woeisme on the open fields of this airport.
Yeah, and Stahl does have the crucial thing that Stahl has is the ability to build up a front line, most importantly in the concave formation. The concave does not currently have the towers down south, which are always nice, but those can be fought back later on in the game. Right now, the crucial thing is to have these Hot 2 missiles, whether they be in Gazelles or on Mephistos, and have them threatening the T-72s. Keep them careful. Keep them constantly moving in groups, so they can't really impose that much map control. Keep Woe smoking and microing them, and you yourself keep your ATGMs refueled and keep sending the helicopters back so that Woe doesn't get to really figure out how many you have on the board. Now a rocket MiG-21 not diving, getting pretty close, but the Rolands managed to target it, and now Woe has perfect information on where the Rolands are. So right now Stahl claiming the artillery advantage early on.
Yeah.
I mean, not early on, 30 minutes in, but the first artillery advantage, which should also work as a containing force on the poles.
Yeah, Wilk goes down here. So Gazelle Hot starting to do their job. Amex 10 coming in from the north with some nice sideline action here. And the MiG-21 goes down in the north to the Mistral. Su-22, that one with its better ECM comes around. But 2 MiG-21s for 2 Gazelle rockets, that's a trait you take every day of the week as the French, especially if you get a Wilk on top. So the Gazelle Hot's already paying off. You can get a couple more of those around, as those are already really paying off here. And that is what the French need right now. They're lighter, but way more flexible forces need to do some work here. The Roland 3s giving them the good backbone that they need, and the Brennesses here now, they are rotating around. They're the last remaining Brennesses, so they have to be really careful. T-72s and BMP-2s pushing towards them. The first Brennes gets into gun range here. Needs to immediately evacuate here, as it can't take these engagements where the enemy can actually shoot at it. So yeah, Brennes gets hit. Should smoke off here in a split second. MiG-21 getting a bit close here, but the Roland's not finding the kill. P4 and Milan 2 go down. Oh, MiG-21 gets down to the last final Roland, finding a really long shot there. So 3 MiG-21s down. Time to bring the Gazelles around again. Yeah, Gazelle Hot immediately coming in. There was no investment into frontline AA, as Woe decided he can shoot them down just like that. There is still a +1 here, slowly taking for Stahl. Even if Stahl loses Elena, Stahl doesn't get ticked against yet, but it's still 25 minutes, so the points, they don't really matter so far. Stahl needs more kills if they want to stay relevant in this game.
Yeah, Stahl seems to be wanting to push back into Emma and the second tower. Grenadier of all the jury investments, a leader, and artillery striking at the frontline Piekotoshmek SVD. And on the other hand, the real MVP here is the Rospecialny GSR in the flight control tower. And I think that thing, it only has 3 health, so it can be one shot easily by the out one. And it's only a matter of time when the artillery gets to targeting that one specific position. T-72 out here taking a front hit at a Milan 2 missile. Last Milan 2 missile going out there, second to last.
Yeah, Brennes is around here as well. The Dana is now on top of it, but it got a BMP2, and it even is maybe getting away here, as the Dana's not hitting with its first 2 shots, and the Milan moved out immediately. Good reaction time there from Stahl, keeping an important Milan 2 position set up. Su-22 AT coming around on the other side, trying to find the Brennes. Where are the Rolands? The Rolands disengaged a bit further. They still have some missiles here. The Brennes don't get hit this time. And the Rolands at least find 1 hit. Second missile not flying out. So the Brennes this time around staying alive. Super stunned down, so it can't stay further forward. But the Gazelle is doing its good job. We finally see some Strelas coming out here now from Woe. Those are absolutely necessary. But on the same time, Stahl is realizing that maybe the investment into the center left the south a bit underdefended. And Stahl is going for the push towards the south. Oh, Mi-24D surviving with 1 hit point here. Can the VAB find the final shots on it? No, they are focusing on something else. Commandos going down in the north, so Woe at the same time pushing around there. This is a whole frontline game right now. This is how we love it. This is a engagement situation that I've never seen on this map. We have seen airport so many times already, but unlike Two Lakes, it can play out in different ways every single time.
Yeah, the Woe's constant tank attack here, I repeat myself, but only made possible by the Rospecialny in the tower. And the fact that these T-72 Wilks are concentrating themselves like this is because if they get separated, if they get pulled out into the front line, they can be stunned down and engaged by the French en masse. The numbers and pushing deep here with the numbers like this is a way to try to find safety, to try to have
Oh, the
2v1 engagement.
overextension! T-72s! They're both critted down! P4s in the Milans. Oh, one of the T-72 CVs already went down. The Wilk might go down here as well. The Wilk goes down at the last T-72 with its tail between its legs, retreating here, trying to disengage, but the Brennis is still there. Okay, it still has eyes on the Brennis. It gets its first shot, but on the move. Brennis is 2 stunned down to find the hit. Okay, the C-72 does disengage, but the Brennises are still alive on Stahlbrecher's side, and that's 3 dead T-72s around here. Really good engagement taken by Stal. That Milan 2 that he saved earlier, crucial with the side shot there, and a really, really fantastic micro there. The southern push didn't quite work out, but at least both helicopters cleaned up there on the side of the Woe by now. So Stahl's next push into it might work out. And yeah, the center engagement went way better than hoped. So Stahl is the one now with the still mobile units left there. But at the same time, Woe with a big force from the north, including a T-72M. That one doesn't have smoke, so a plane could one-shot it when it could come around again. But there doesn't seem to be one right here, right now.
Yeah, the Woe attack up north here, I think, might be just a little bit for Stahl to chew. There's no tank, there's no ATGM here. The will go out there and they will likely get targeted by the Strelas. And there are coups out here in the front, so sending in too many planes to counter this is not really that reasonable for Stahl. You only want to be sending your planes against high-value targets because the risk of losing them to a coup is too big. Now, a Mirage managing to stun down and kill the Su-22's miss micro, having them fly so close to each other means that a single missile can do double the stun damage, or the stress damage, which is what happened there right before the Mistral.
The AMX-10, the HOTS went down, yes, to the Strela, but it stunned down the BMP-1 and the T-72. So the AMX-13s, even though they were damaged, were at least trading 1-to-1 T-72 versus AMX-10. And now Stahl actually stabilizing the north, actually killing the T-72 up there, and with the Gazelle finding a hit. And yeah, the Su-22 went down, and Stahl is starting to get some really crucial kills on some compartments of the 20th Panzerna setup, as that's all rocket planes, for example, down. 3 MiG-21 rockets gone, and oh, the T-72 M1D! Too many things happening here at once. Woe only reacting now. Oh, it might survive. No, it goes down! This is massive! Stahl finding a kill that is so crucial in this engagement, and with that, Woe is now under pressure here in the center. That was the last T-72 on the battlefield right now. This is Stahl now in the driver's seat again.
Yeah, and down south, the Rospecialny were on return fire, which means they did not destroy this Grenadier Voltigeur Epilogue squad while they were in a VAB, and now allowing the troops to go back to unload and most likely push this with fire supremacy in reinforcement tank getting bought here. The mech attack overextension from Woe, that went way too deep. The positions and the map control for Stahl and the ability to abuse that with 5e was just way too powerful. And but I understand why Woe was doing that. Woe recognizes that the enemy does have superiority in reinforcements and in defensive buildups. So when the attack started working, Woe just kept driving, kept trying to get the kills, kept trying to exploit the advantage, and prevent the sort of slow crawl against the very powerful defense that almost took Woe in the last game. And that wasn't even a very powerful defense. That was second UK.
Yes, VAB's gone down. Su-22 AT now coming in for the south, trying to hunt down the MX-10, but the MX-10 immediately moves away. Is there another plane here coming around? No, but the 2 Rolands might be enough. 1 hit, and they most likely get another shutout. Gets the MX-30 on the way out. That's unfortunate for Stahl, but he gets the kill. So in the end, it's a trade worthwhile. The MX-30 is cheaper and more replaceable than the Su-22. So another good catch. At the same time, Grenadier Voltigeurs in the north, though, they get annihilated by Dana fire. And that's a good one for Woe, stopping the recapture there, keeping the +1 up for now. as the recapture of the center didn't quite work out for Stahl, but at least it's only a +1, so Stahl is going to stay ahead for a long while here. Can get a CV out again. Yeah, next AMX30 CV coming around, and the AMX10 in the south is still alive to give another attack push against Emma some weight behind it, and the lack of tanks here on the front line right now for Woe is worrisome. 2 T-72Ms in the north again, another SU-22 coming in, 2 more T-72 M1s coming in as well. The T-72 printer, at least, that is functional, but the front line is currently still pushable, and Stahl is doing exactly that. So can Stahl find some value before the T-72s arrive? Potentially, yes. Not if the SU-20... Oh! SU-22 coming in with one good hit, getting damaged, but is still alive. Brenner's at least number 2 does get missed, but yeah, that's painful for Stahlbrecher here. Having to disengage. Gets the owned AT plane out, so might find some value there in the north before the Coop can get on target. T-72 M1, nope, doesn't go down. Jaguar not finding the hit. So Woe is stabilizing here at the front line and might even keep the tick up for a good bit longer.
Yeah, Woe's reinforcements are going everywhere, and I think that is that is kind of not Stahl's reinforcements are going everywhere, which I think is reflecting the fact that Stahl is thinking of this as still a frontline build-up. That the tank reinforcements, especially going here in
the
middle.
VABs and the MX-30 pushing onto the Danas, though. The Danas are there getting slowed down here. VABs might do it here. At least allow the MX-30 to get a shot off. Ah, no, barely not. MX-30 nearly got a shot off against the Danas there. The VABs keep hunting it down. But yeah, one of the Danas here might go down to the VABs. No, it survives with 1 hit point. Oh, that would have been a great find. What an engagement there. MX-30B2s, though, now getting the flanking shots here against the T-72 potentially. Ah, no, they're both still hitting frontal armor, but they have the first one pretty low, and no, they don't quite find the kill there. T-72 M1 here now, disengaging. And the MX-30 doesn't get the final shot out. Gets the CV kill in the north, but the Sviat still with the RPG there, able to kill off the MX-30 there, most likely together with the T-72. T-72, yeah, finishes the job. So still trades after trades here. Center trade, BMP1 coming in against the MX-30. MX-30 not quite finding the kill, but keeping the CV out and getting the capture there finally, stopping the tick. That should have happened a good bit earlier if the plane wouldn't have killed it off. And the MX of 1 shooting at the Dana. Dana still standing still, so it might fall after all. Artillery coming in. Dana stunned down. Second shot landing on it. Not getting the kill either. But the third kill, can it find it? No, the Dana actually getting out alive there. That's frustrating for Stahlbrecher here.
Yeah, and the AMX-30 is getting bought in here. Even more regions of AMX-30s are just coming in, and I think that shows that Stahl has still not figured out where the natural borders of the French Empire end. The Grenadier Voltigeurs managed to get a reinforcement road up northeast with only wounded T-72 out there. This is a big position for Stahl to both get Boris and to potentially get some really good positions with the Surblinde. The AMX-30 attack down the middle here using fire supremacy against the fortified infantry, maybe finally getting rid of the GSR recon unit in the flight control tower. And yeah, even now, I mean, Rolands and Milan are getting bought in here, but I still believe Stahl sees this as an offensive, that Stahl is risking significantly by buying these offensive units, knowing that they are 27 minutes into the game, and the Polish just the natural heavier unit advantage, the scaling advantage, is just paying off here. And the longer this game goes on, and especially if Stahl can handle can actually fortify the middle here, if Elena position gets taken, I think this map could become one massive concave that actually stops Woe. But if Woe can micro again and keep contesting the middle zone, I think that that's a path to victory for Woe. Woe cannot allow the fortification to start happening here.
Yeah, Milan 2 on the way. Jago HE. Oh, there's a lot of targets there. Oh, the T-72s are pretty stacked. Oh, it's going for the... Wait, what? Okay, that's one T-72 M1. It took one down. That's still good enough. Grenadier Voltigeurs there with their weapon firing against the BMP-1. Oh, the Grenadier Voltigeurs in the south coming up against the T-72. Arc. They don't get a second shot out and they missed with the first one. But the AT weapon takes out the T-72 M1D. The Coup's not good enough in numbers, not strong enough as setup. No AA planes around, and the Jaguar AT here unpunished flying around the Coupe, not even with any ammo left. T-72 in the middle, only getting stunned down, but that's still a decent hit there as well. And we have a +2 here for Stahl. We have 11 minutes still on the clock, but that means that Feodor is not going to fall right now, and that is a big, big blow there. Oh, the French are doing it. The French are doing it.
Yeah, the natural borders have not been found. Now with infantry reinforcements coming in the middle, I think this is here. Can the French better infantry units fight the middle position and the hangars away from the Polish better fire support? Now, if the fire support of the French fights the fire supports of the Poles will most likely win. So this is going to be very micro dependent.
Oh, the artillery is doing it again. The artillery is closing in on the 72. Oh my god. Oh, it's so close. Okay, it gets out this time, but it's so low. They need some supplies immediately. There's 2 supply trucks there. Okay, they need to get repairing there right now. AMX-30 got shot down in the middle by the Su-22AT. That did a fantastic job against the Roland's down. The Milan 2 finally gets killed off south of the central zone as well. So it seems like Woe might be able to stop the take here, but the point value here for Stahlbrecher is looking pretty good. T-72 in the north gets stunned down. Oh, this is getting close here. Can Woe get the combat? Only 10 minutes left, so Woe will have to start and grab some real points here. Could still go for Anna. Anna actually a bit of a soft underbelly here on the side of Stahlbrecher if Woe sees that and pushes maybe from Elena straight to Anna. There could be something going on there. At the same time, Woe has to be careful of not getting outflanked too hard in the north either. But so far, Dana's still holding out. Milan 2s are being hunted. Woe not moving into Elena right now is a big mistake, though. The +2 keeps ticking, and he is not getting the good positions back. He doesn't have much infantry there, but he doesn't realize how much he killed on the other side.
Both sides are treating this as a no man's land. Even Stahl deploying outside of the zone, now sending the unmanned VAB to find out where the enemy front line is. And I think the 2 Grenadier Voltigeurs, if they are microed well enough with fire support, there are AMX-30s northwest of this position currently repairing the Kangaroo. And with Woe having tank supremacy and defensive positions on the northern part of the zone here, any mass movement of vehicles up north is going to attrition itself against the French. So the attack straight to west is Woe's best case scenario here. Now, taking out the Epilogue, getting to fire at the Grenadier Voltigeurs and not fighting them with infantry is the right way to go here because you have such a superiority. But the Mephisto southwest.
The Mephisto flank is great here. We have a planes coming in again. HE bomber coming in for both CVs. Getting one, damaging the other. SH-22AT not quite finding anything of value, but BMP-2 still goes down here. And the Mephisto from the side here is still in a really great angle. The zone gets captured here for now. The AT finds a T-72 M1 in the south after getting hit.
Before it was going to kill the Mephisto as well. Oh no, this is massive here for Stahl.
Yeah, that could have allowed the push towards Anna if the Mephisto would have died, if the T-72 would have survived. But the T-72 is down. Mephisto goes down to the Fagot launcher, but now Stahl might be able to hold on to Anna, and the point on its own isn't turning the tide here for Woe. Woe needs more than this. Woe got in there, but only has a damaged CV. Loses that CV. There's no CV on the battlefield. There is no CV on the battlefield for Woe. Woe
You think they
needs
run
to
out of them?
run into this game now with full force. Not a single CV on the battlefield. He might still have some, but he will
There
have to bring
should
them on
be
short.
MTLBs. They did he have the MTLB in this game? Because I think there are not 3 MTLBs have not died here. I don't think.
Yeah, but MTLBs are not what you want to bring out here now. You want to have something fast, because the MTLB will take 4 minutes to the front line. That's going to be too late. So, yeah, but there is nothing here. BMP2s go down. T72 M1s coming in. The T55 AS coming in. Yeah, not that impactful on this map, but a great unit nonetheless. One of the reasons why the Polish divisions are so high in regard right now. Both the ZMAC and this 20th Panzerna. But the Danas taking out the Dragon Paras finally, that have been spotting all game long down there. At the same time, Woe is getting pushed in the center. Yeah, there's no CV. Woe even might have given up at this point. They might be shedding in the chat right now because, yep, this is Stahlbrecher's start of a comeback.
Yeah, and Woe sending in these tanks, not blind. They are supported by recon specs, but they are still not gonna go too far away before losing their recon to the distance. And the T-72s here, you know, if they get there and kill just a series of really good units, such as the AUF-1 and the Rolands, that might be enough. But there is just the 2 Brennuses, and not Brennuses, 2 B2s on close ranges will be enough to stop this T-72, I think. And the fact that there is just so much of the ATGM lying around and the mobility of the French allows them to get a lot of good positions really fast. The AMX-10 here now is already moving to flank the enemy. Suddenly, the T-72 attack is almost enveloped.
Yeah, and not just that, as we said, there's nothing coming in here. As there's no CV coming up. And yeah, we see P4s coming around on the other side. MX-30B2s here, trying to find some kills. MX-10RC, trying to get on behind the T-72s here. But there, yeah, the T-72 is just getting shot at from every side. And this is going to be it. We have a real series at hand. Stahlbrecher is breaking the dominance here of Woe in this game after an amazing early game. And we're gonna see a game number 4 here, guys. At least, and maybe a game number 5, if Stahlbrecher can move on to one further round after that. So, hell yeah, Stahl coming in here hot now.
Yeah, just repeated mech attack after mech attack. Every one of them just taking not necessarily always more risks, but the risks do get taken constantly and repeatedly, and always with a certain amount of always with an increasing amount of desperation coming from up until the end when you just tanks through the enemy line. Yeah, I think in the opener, I really do think that the classic issue of abandoning the point positions to take a strategic position and then suddenly losing the ability to go back into that point position and having to fight for it for the rest of the game. I think that really was one of the only mistakes that I would say Woe did. Woe was massing and blobbing the tanks from the start, and this meant that they always moved as a group and couldn't impose map control. So when this all was spotted by the French player or the German player playing the French helicopters, the French recon, the French all around just very fast units managed to take the map control and never give it back without a fight in which Woe would slowly attrition away against the long range enemies and the close range enemies as well, but those fights were lesser.
Yeah, really, really well done game here between the two. And we gonna get with this into a game number 4. So let's see what we can get there. If Stahl can get another game out of Woe and bring us to the decider game, or Woe does it after stumbling once here and gets into the final with a 3-1. So yeah, quick break, guys, and then we're gonna be back with the next one. So don't you run away. Quick toilet break, maybe. And here we go on to death row. Stahlbrecher versus Woeisme. As both of these players here coming around with some hot divisions once more. As Woe is bringing in one of the crowd favorites, and obviously one of my favorites, 9th Panzer, coming in here with some more T-72s once more, while Stahlbrecher on the other side brings around the 2nd UK once more. And he was like, I have won with a division that I have lost with before earlier, so why can't we repeat that with 2nd UK? So let's see if that is actually going to happen, or if Woe can finish it off with the T-72 division this time around. The bands this time around, 56 and 4th ZMAC, and then 4th Divisie, 5th Panzer, and 1st Armored. So 20th Panzer would have been open, but 9th Panzer, slightly heavier, slightly slower, but slightly heavier variant of this all. So a bit more pitting maybe for death row, but Stal wants to go here for a bit more aggression, most likely again, with the 2nd UK.
Yeah, and the aggression is the obvious right choice. The big difference between 9th and 20th, despite both being the NorthAC T-72 divisions, is that the 20th is way more usable. The 9th lacks the special forces recon units. They can play aggro, but they are not efficient at doing so. And because it is a East German division, the units are a bit more expensive due to their more high-tech weaponry, their 5-point, the modern infantry weapons, modern infantry 80 weapons, and the resolute trait. All of it is just slightly less aggro, slightly less usable, and way better if you actually get the Juggernaut thing going. But the problem is getting there. And on the opposite here, on this map is a very short front line. This means that expensive divisions, such as the expensive opener of 2nd UK, can be really good here. The SAS, relatively their Stingers, will give you amazing air defense early on, and we can see here Stahl is investing into 4 SAS, which is one more than usual, and actually taking 3 of them and just going in for the enemy back point. Not the back point, the enemy side point. 2-point zone, caught center. It is not at center. If you can get there, if you can burst down the first Motto Aufklärers and the Aufklär BMP-1s that the enemy brings out there, send in some helicopters, have your Saxons and your Lynxes quick reinforce you with infantry that you can use to get into all around over the zone, close down the reinforcement routes, and suddenly the enemy is going to have to do a slow and expensive mech attack to get rid of your close range, very good AT weapon equipped British infantry. So as far as plans go, it's not the worst one. The problem here is how is Stal going to keep the plateau and the open areas of the plateau defended, as Woe is investing both heavily into the Motto Alpha, which are the best that you get in this division or in 9th. And Woe's division will have reserves to keep sending tanks out there, even if first couple of them lose against a Rover Milan or something. So this attack really needs to work, and a defense needs to be formalized with helicopters and with British planes and bombers, and maybe even some early challengers, because otherwise I am afraid that the expensive openers down southeast might be too easy to counter in the mid game.
Yeah, the push towards center was way better when this map had a lot more forests, and when there was a full-on forest between center and Theodore and the Fold south, when you could just push through there. It's a lot more risky now that it has an open ground, when if the enemy controls the open zone from Elena, they can just shut it down completely. So you need to capture both center and Elena here, basically, as Stahlbrecher, to keep this safe. And that might actually work out, though, as Woe is focusing heavily on Anna. Most likely expecting a push into Anna with a good bit more forces, but Stahl obviously doesn't have the forces for that. Is invested quite a bit more into the south here. Has to be careful that the SAS don't get one-shotted by a BRM or a BMP1 though. So has to be careful that all of those pop out the smoke quickly with the Saxons or unload quickly enough. But yeah, we get into the action here now. The T-72M1 capturing the rear zone. On the other side, the rover already got there, and the SAS do unload in time. Fox is coming around now as the Saxons start to push forward a bit. Fox is getting a V50 as the first kill, and Warriors and Challengers pushing up, but this gives Woe the go signal for the center here, knowing that most likely there's not going to be all that much around there when the expensive SAS, the Foxes, and soon to be seen Challengers are down in the south here.
Yeah, Woe is controlling the most important parts of the zone, which are the entry points. As long as the tank, even if it's not engaging the enemy, as long as the tank prevents the enemy from cutting the zone off, the attack has not worked. And taking a more passive role here, sitting behind the motto of Clarus, is exactly what you want to be doing here. You want to assess the enemy, you want to wait for reinforcements.
No, the Foxes, they get sacrificed. One of them already went down. Second Fox smoking off. Lucky there that this next shot of the RPG doesn't hit. Oh, it takes the fight against the motto of Clarus. They miss one more time. Stahl risking it all there. And the Warriors now pushing forwards against the VMP. Stahl kind of knowing, I guess, that this is risky and that it has to work. SAS now following it up. BRM1 here still around. Warriors and Challengers pushing through here. T72M1K on the other side is around. And Stahl actually pushing in with the SAS here in the middle. Might find the Fagot and the 30mm grenade launcher there. With the SAS pushing over the mod aufklärer here now. Getting a stun onto the 30mm grenade launcher. Gunning that down first. Now jumping into getting the Fagot team. Mod aufklärer next target. Going down quite quickly as well. BRM1 in the south. And yeah, good amount of pushes here happening. Saxons and Motor Airmobile in the north dying. But in this push is working so far. Though another Fox here getting pretty close to Mod Schützen. And the Mod Schützen might get into the building here before the Foxes can kill it. So the Fox will have to disengage there. And have to be careful. Whilst BMP1s get the reinforcements in here before Stahl can push through the whole zone. Hellfire coming around. Fox goes down. Cluster Bomber coming in, but the C-72 is moving too good. And Stahl is not going to hit anything here. Yeah, bombing things that you don't have direct eyes on is always a gamble, and I would always recommend against it. It's something that in too many cases doesn't work out, and then you end up like this, losing your plane without even getting the kill there. It's a bad habit. Don't get into this bad habit. It's just as bad as smoking, guys. Though smoking in this game is good.
Yeah, though in this case, watching Stahl play, this is something that Stahl has done repeatedly, both with artillery and bombers. And when it pays off hard, and you can completely surprise the enemy and get yourself in a really nice position. But just having seen so many salvos just with base round vibes, I have a feeling Stahl might want to cut it out before it becomes a problem, or at least take it under control. Now the Mi2 Urns actually did manage to get some damage despite being out here in the SAS range, with the second SAS getting targeted now by a group of units, including SPW-70, which means that it will actually get taken out. The SAS is allergic to light transport vehicles with 50 cals.
Yeah, SAS here going down. The rest of the infantry got pushed down as well. The T-72 M1K at least goes down here in the end, but Challenger being pushed back. Another mod airmobile coming